make a lot of decisions based on superficialities, not based on your talent or skill. They don't even get that far. They just make a decision based on superficiality. So one of the things that I recommend that you do is go out and buy a book or two on Dress for Success in Business. There's some of the best books based on the best research on how to make the greatest and the best impression, the proper colors, the proper grooming, the proper everything that you can get, and with some modifications in your appearance, dramatically increase your perceived credibility, your verisimilitude. And it's really important that you do that, because what counts? What counts? Everything counts. Everything counts, because you're asking a person to give you money in exchange for what? You're asking a person to give you money in exchange for promises. You say, you give me, I'll give you some promises that this copy will be good and will work, or that my services will be good. And you give me some money that I can go and spend right now. I'd like some money up front. I'd like some money as we go along. In other words, you're asking a person to take a big risk. And people have been burnt over and over again. So your job is not to give them any reason not to believe you, trust you, to have to perceive you as credible. Are you with me so far? Really, really important. Okay. Oh, damn, I love this stuff. Okay. The next is positioning. And positioning is the way that you are thought about and described by your customers. The whole thing of positioning, Joe's an expert in this. You could talk about this all day long, positioning, because it's so important. It's basically, how do people think about you and talk about you when you're not there? What is the way they think about you and talk about you, and especially how do they describe you to others? After you leave their office and they turn and say, who were you just with? Well, so-and-so. Well, what was it like? Well, what did they say? How are you positioned with your clients? And the other question is, how would you like to be positioned? And the critical thing that you're looking for is the words. And we could spend a lot of time on this, but basically you're looking just for the words. What are the words that you want people to use after they have spoken to you? When someone says, what is your name, sir? Larry. And what is your name? Carrie. So let us say Carrie asked me about you, and I know you, I've done business with you, I've worked with you. Tell me a little bit about Larry. What do you know about him? What would you want me to say? And if he was a prospective client, what would you want me to say? Does superb work? He's a great, super person to work with, does great work, he's punctual, his advertising really works, causes the phone to ring off. Is that what you want them to say? Now, if that's what you want people to say, then what do? You make sure that every single customer contact and every customer interaction builds that perception. Because perception is reality. Is what all top companies and all top professionals do is they're constantly aware of the perception that they're creating, and they work to shape the perception. They work to shape the perception so the person thinks of them as qualified, competent, positive, personable, excellent at what they do, easy to work with, and so on. It is so important. In my office, it's been my philosophy all my life, but we try to make it easy for customers to deal with us. Easy for our clients to deal with us. It's been my philosophy, and I teach that in selling, be easy to work with. Be really easy to work with. Be pleasant, be accommodating, be there on time, be punctual with your assignments, do your preparation. Be easy to work with. Make it easy for people to choose you rather than someone else. And so the very best compliment that I ever get is people say, working with your office is the easiest that we've done in the world market. I speak with people all over the world, and they say, working with your office is so easy. Your people are so good. They're so punctual. They're so pleasant. They're so polite. They get back to you immediately. And I think, I'll go back and I brace my staff, because that's the perception I want people to have. And it's amazing. I did 29 talks for IBM. And about halfway through this series of talks, which lasts for about 3 years, I said, I really appreciate your hiring me, because it's wonderful. They pay well, wonderful group of people to work with. I said, well, why do you choose me? There's lots of great speakers out there. He said, you're the easiest person to deal with. He said, you're always accommodating, you're always on time, you're always prepared. Once we make an arrangement with you, we never have to think about it again. If you have any questions, your staff takes care of everything. Everything's always delivered on time. He said, it's just so we have to say, who are we going to get for this? Well, let's get Brian, because it's so easy to deal with. And I would like to think it was because I'm such a great talent, which we are. So positioning is important. Think about the words that you want people to use, and then make sure that everything that you do is consistent with the words that you want people to use to describe you. And the last has to do with the people. And remember, the people, yourself and the people in your business, are 85% of your business. So as they say, good companies don't hire people and teach them to be nice. They hire nice people. And so it's important that every customer contact, every single customer contact, every single phone call, every single word, email, is by someone who's pleasant, positive, enjoyable. Because as Herschel said, as Joe said, people are extremely emotional. And they respond in a positive way to positive people, cheerful people, friendly people, happy people, nice people, helpful people, and so on. And it's amazing. Some of the most talented people out there don't get a chance to use their talents because they're aggravating people. You know the old saying, when you first meet them, you don't like them, but after you get to know them, you hate their guts? You know, well, they're like that. Okay, here's the last one, and then I've got a couple of things I have to show you, but it has to do with customer service, and this is really the importance. We say the purpose of a business is to create and keep a customer. So what is the critical determinant of creating and keeping customers? In other words, what is the sole aim and the central core aim of any business? And the answer is customer satisfaction. It's customer satisfaction. This is the sole aim. Customer satisfaction. And how do you measure customer satisfaction? This is the key measure of your success, and the answer is repeat business. Now, we could talk about this all day long, but as I said, I know you're some of the smartest people in the West, so you can take this quickly, but repeat business is the key. Repeat business is where customers tell you that you have satisfied them. Sometimes I say, what is the most important sale? In working with a client or a customer, what's the most important sale? And they'll say, the first sale. I say, no, because you can get the first sale by personality, by promises, by deception, by discounts. You can get the first sale in a variety of ways. The second sale is the most important. Why is that? Because the second sale is the customer's way of saying to you, you delivered on your promises. You did what you said you would do. Your product or service was the quality that you represented it to be when I made my first decision. So the second sale is the key. All success is dependent upon the second sale. All success is dependent upon the second sale. And so therefore, everything you do has to be aimed at the second sale. And this brings us to what I call the 4 levels of customer service to pumping up your profits. Number 1 is the first level, which used to be, by the way, the measure that people set as their standard, is to meet expectations. Hey, they would brag, we meet expectations. We meet customers' expectations X number of time, or 97% of the time. Today, because the competition is so fierce, meeting expectations merely enables you to survive one more customer. Survive to one more customer. Meeting is no longer enough to get ahead. It just keeps you. It's almost like a person treading water, keeps their nose just above the water. Just above the water level. You will never make any progress. You'll just survive. So the second level is to exceed expectations. And this is to do things that customers did not expect. It's just little things. Just to exceed expectations. And there's all kinds of ways that you can exceed expectations. Sometimes the store owner will take the person to the door and open the door and say, thank you for coming, as opposed to ringing it up at the cash register and waving goodbye. Sometimes they carry it out to the car for them. What is it that Walmart does that they're so famous for? Greeters. The only company in the world that does greeters. And everybody says, oh, look at those old Walmart people. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing? Biggest damn retail operation in the history of man on earth? Are you kidding? They know what they're doing. And so when people get older and they can't run around the stores, they just have them be greeters. And some of them just sit there and be greeters, say, welcome to Walmart, thanks for coming. Isn't that nice? I mean, it's a small thing, but it starts people off as they go shopping with kind of a happy glow. Somebody said, thank you for coming, which never happens anywhere else. So exceeding expectations, the baker's dozen, you buy a dozen rolls, the baker puts in an extra one, just gives you a little benefit, a little something extra. So always be looking for ways where you can do something a little bit extra. Now the third is to delight your customers. And you delight your customers, that goes beyond exceeding expectations. You delight your customers by doing something that causes them to light up, that really connects with them emotionally. Like IBM, you know what they used to do when a salesman made a great sale? They'd send a bouquet of roses with a gift certificate to a first-class restaurant home to the wife. And when the wife got home, there'd be a bouquet of roses and a gift certificate to a first-class restaurant, say, your husband made a great sale this week, and we, the company, really appreciate you. What do you think impact that would have when you get home at night and your wife's sitting there with a dozen roses and a gift certificate to a great restaurant? I mean, would that kind of delight you? Would that make people motivated to go out there and kill for IBM? You bet your bippy. That's why IBM, by 1983, IBM had 80% of the world computer market. And just why? Because those people were so excited about selling for IBM, and customers were so excited about buying. I mean, they didn't even know why. But all right. Number four is you amaze your customers. You amaze your customers. And these areas of customer delight and customer amazement are areas that are basically based on your imagination. what could you do to amaze your customers? And it doesn't have to be a huge expense. It's something that connects with them emotionally. Sometimes it's a personal letter written in your own handwriting telling them what a pleasure it is to work with a person like you and how much you've learned from them and how much you've gained from your association with them. I mean, it's just something personal. Maybe it's a birthday card to their home. Maybe it's a present for one of their kids because they heard that one of their kids is doing something. Something that's not expensive, but you should always look at it reinvesting about 5 or 10% of all of your revenues back into appreciating your clients, into delighting and amazing your clients. Put it back in, and my promise to you is that it will come back tenfold, 20-fold. So it's really important. Well, this brings us to the final point with regard to pumping up your profits. And we say in the final analysis, the key to business success is to get referrals, is to get repeat sales and to get referrals. Now, my friend Fred Reichhold at Bain & Company has done about 50 years of research into customer service. And what he's come up with is a concept which he calls the ultimate question. And it's based on years and years of research. He's installed it now into many of the biggest companies in the world, and it transforms the business completely. And the ultimate question, he says, after you've taken every customer survey and every analysis and every poll and every telephone call and everything else, is summarized in the ultimate question. And the ultimate question is this, is would you refer us to others? Would you refer me, refer or recommend me to others? He said it can all be summarized in the answer to this question. And what he does in the book, and you don't need to read the book because I'll give you the essence of it right here, is he asks them on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable would you be referring me to other people based on the way that I have taken care of you? And Joe was asking that 1 to 10 question a little bit earlier too with regard to speaking. So you have to ask this question. If you were to ask your clients, and most people don't want to know, if you were to ask your clients on a scale of 1 to 10, based on the way that I have worked with you, would you recommend me to others? Would you recommend? Because the very best business you'll ever get will be referral business. When you walk in with referral business, you piggyback in on the what of the person who sent you? The credibility. You walk in with all the credibility. You don't have to make proposals and make sales and talk and come back week after week or month after month. They say, this is my person, you should use them. They walk in and they say, when can you start? Referrals, by the way, are 15 times easier to get than cold calls. They take 1/15 of the energy. 1/15 of the time and energy to make a sale to a referral, a positive referral, than to a cold call. So the critical organizing question for you for the rest of your career, and this is where everything that we do, product, place, promotion, packaging, positioning, people, specialize, differentiate, segment, concentrate, everything in business comes down to this essential question. Is based on your experience with me, would you recommend me to others? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? And what they found in their years of surveys is that people who rate you 9 or 10 on this scale of 1 to 10 will be responsible for 85% of your future business. And that you could basically get rich by making sure that everything you do happens in such a way that people say, yes, I would willingly recommend you to others. I will take you to others. I will bring you to my friends. I will set up a lunch. I mean, people who are happy with your services will open every door for you, will assure that you sell more and more, better and better, higher and higher, at higher and higher prices, and that you eventually become rich. Is that a good goal? Say yes. Okay. So always ask this question. Have the courage to ask this question. And if they give you a grade anywhere below 9 or 10, then ask them, what would I have to do to get a 9 or 10 grade from you? And the most amazing thing is this. They say, well, if you just did this or did that or more of this or less of that, and you do it, you know what happens? Is they will then grade you at a 9 or a 10, and they'll open every door for you. They say customers will do a transformation if you ask them how you can improve, and then they tell you, and then you do it, and you tell them I did it. Because they will then say, aha, then they'll open doors for you. So very powerful. Is this a useful principle? Say yes. Okay. Now, I brought a couple of audio programs here. You, as I said before, you are the 5% who understand the importance of continuous learning with regard to success. The people who are continuously learning have an edge over the people who aren't, just like the athletes who are in continuous training have an edge over the people who aren't, and of course that's why you're here. So what I've done is I brought some of my programs here, and we have a special offer today. They're all free. It's an IWA type of free. I'll explain what I mean in just a second. The first of these programs is called The Psychology of Achievement. The Psychology of Achievement is my best-selling audio program in the world. It's now in 23 languages in 38 countries. It's sold millions of sets. And what it does is it shows you how to transform your thinking from the inside out. It shows you how to raise your self-esteem and self-confidence, how to set goals in every part of your life, how to unlock your subconscious and